Blackberry Pie by Knut Blyton. Andrew was cross. Just as he had planned to go blackberrying with the other children, Mother had called him to go on an errand for her. "Oh, Mother, I wanted to go and pick some blackberries with Peter and Charlotte," he grumbled. "I did want you to make me a blackberry pie tomorrow. It's too bad." "I'm sorry, Andrew, but I promised Mrs. Jones she should have these books back today," said Mother, putting 4 books in a basket for Andrew to carry. "Now don't sulk. You'll grow up ugly if you do." Andrew said no more. He was fond of his mother, and he wasn't really a sulky boy. So he smiled at her and ran off, but inside he was very disappointed. It would have been so lovely to go blackberrying. There wouldn't be another chance till the next Saturday now, and it might be wet then. Bother, bother, bother. He met Peter and Charlotte with their little baskets. "Aren't you coming?" they shouted. "I can't," said Andrew. "I've got to go into town and take these books to Mrs. Jones." "Bad luck," said Peter, and he and Charlotte went on their way to the fields. Andrew began to whistle. He always found that it was a very good thing to do when he felt cross. You can't feel cross if you are whistling. He came to Mrs. Jones' house. She was at home and very glad to have the books. "It's nice of you to bring them, Andrew," she said. "You might have been out in the fields with the others today, and then I wouldn't have got my books." "Well, I was going blackberrying, but Mother just called me before I went," said Andrew. "So you couldn't go blackberrying?" said Mrs. Jones. "What a pity! But listen, Andrew, at the bottom of my garden a great bramble grows over the fence. I don't like blackberries, so I haven't even looked to see if there are any growing there this year. Would you like to go and see? If there are any, you can pick them all." "Oh, thank you," said Andrew, pleased. He went down the garden and came to the bottom, and sure enough, all over the fence there grew an enormous bramble, and on it were hundreds and hundreds of biggest, ripest blackberries that Andrew had ever seen. Not one had been picked, and they grew there in the sunshine, full of ripe sweetness. "Goodness gracious," said Andrew, astonished and delighted. "Look at those! My goodness, I'm lucky." He began to pick them. He ate a great many. They were the sweetest he had ever tasted. More and more he picked, and more. His basket began to get full. His hands were wet and sticky. His mouth were purple. He was very happy indeed. When his basket was full, he went to show it to Mrs. Jones. "Splendid," she said. "I'm so glad they will not be wasted. Ask your mother to make you a blackberry pie with them. You deserve them." On his way home, Andrew met Peter and Charlotte, and they were surprised to see his lovely big basket full. They had hardly any, for other children had been to the fields that day and picked all the ripe berries. "Well, have some of mine," said Andrew, and he emptied some into their baskets. They were pleased. Then home he went, and his mother cried out in astonishment, "You have been blackberrying after all." How he smiled when she heard Andrew's story. And now a baked blackberry tart is baking in her oven. "I'd love to have a slice, wouldn't you?"